When I went to modern truth, which is scientific truth, I had evaluated their claims, looked at what they were saying and grappled with what they were trying to say, the principles they were trying to put forward. When I went to postmodernism, I did the same thing. What are they saying? Let's weigh it back and forth. But if you remember, what I had done with traditional truth, I had thrown it off because of bad behavior. Jihads, papal inquisitions, crusades. That's behavior. I had not looked at what they were trying to say. And the reason is, of course there's bad behavior. Who doesn't know that? One of the worst words right now I come across is the word religion. Oh boy, it really rankles people up. In fact, one of the questions was, don't you think religion has spoiled the whole earth? Yeah. When you look at what we put on the board a few little minutes ago, yes. But remember, there's something more than that. And that's what I came across. Yes, religion can be very rigid and make you very proud and oppressive. But I also found some people who were extraordinarily generous, self-sacrificing, pleasant, just beautiful people. And when I asked them, what's the secret? You are so loved in this whole community. What is your secret? Religion. So here was religion causing beautiful people to grow up and nasty people as well. Now, how many of us have seen families in which one grows up to be a graceful member of the society and the other becomes a scumbag? Sometimes they are twins who go completely opposite ways. So shall we look at only the scumbag and just discredit the whole family? That won't be fair at all. And therefore, when I saw that there were two things that traditional truth was offering and portraying to me, I said, well, let's look at the substance, like I had looked at the substance of modern truth and postmodern truth. That's what I did. And about this time, I read this statement from Carl Henry. The medieval heritage is not nearly as discredited as its current critiques would have us believe. So what is this thing called medieval heritage? It is the traditional truth as found in the sacred written codes or literature of antiquity. The word antiquity just means ancient. That which has come down to us. The medieval heritage is not as discredited as some of the critics would have us believe, because there is a lot of criticism about what has come down, and we accept that. But let's look to see if it is really discredited, or is there some substance to what they are saying hundreds and thousands of years ago. So literature of antiquity, that's what I went for. Oh boy. Now what do? I have only one lifetime. And that won't be enough to do even 2 or 3 of these. I felt I had hit a stone wall. Multiple lifetimes wouldn't be enough to really study them all. I sat down to think, how shall I proceed? Well, I started asking like before. I started asking people, hey, do you know that big long list of claims out there? What do you think about them? And to the next, and to the next. And as I talked to people about this big long list, and this is only a partial list, it's a bitty part of the list. There's a huge long list after that. There were 2 concepts that came out. One was, oh yeah, I know that big list, but don't bother about the big list. There's only one way, mine. The other side, the other concept, yes, I've seen the big list. It's impressive, but don't be too bothered about it, because all of them finally reach the same destination. The first one is called exclusivism, exclusively one, mine. The second one is called pluralism, all. It's plural, more than one. All of them will finally lead you to the same final destination. Don't be bothered. I had to look at pluralism first, because if that was sustained, I don't have to search anymore, because I was already believing something and I can stay right there. I don't have to scratch my head. No running into some nebulous field trying to figure out what's happening out there. I would be satisfied, and you would be satisfied where you are. So, that's what pluralism said. All religions lead to God. They are different paths but end up at the same destination. For instance, God is in the world, but Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad are in their little closets, and we should thank them but never return to them. To understand God is to listen. Listen to Jesus and Muhammad and Buddha, but don't get caught up in the names. Listen beyond them. Listen to God's breath. That's a Zen saying. Sounds very impressive, actually. Sounds quite captivating too. I would like you to remember two phrases on the screen here. Listen to and listen beyond. And we'll come back to those phrases. So pluralism recognizes not only the existence of other religions, but their intrinsic equal values. They have to say that. They have to say that they are all equal, because if they don't, I will say which is the best. Or you will have to say which is the best. So when pluralism says all the paths lead to the same goal, they have to state that all of them are equally valid and equally true. There is no option they have but to state it that way. So child sacrifice and voodooism and witchcraft is the same as the peaceful Buddhism and Hinduism. Yeah, you have to say it. They are not only valid and true, but equally so. And the destination is the same. Where did they get the idea from? Did the religious writings say so? And so I went to the religious writings, and I'm going to put up statements from the 5 religious writings that we are going to study during this seminar. Hinduism. It's in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the kernel or core of Hindu thought. And here it is talking about Krishna. He is recognized by the flute and a dark skin. This is what Krishna says. I am the goal, the upholder, the master, the witness, the home, the shelter, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything. The resting place and eternal seed. Let there be one scripture for the whole world, the Bhagavad Gita. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna, and one hymn, one mantra, one prayer, the chanting of his name. That's the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, page 33. When it comes to Islam, in the 2nd chapter and verse 255, it is called the regal or the coronation verse of the Quran. This is what it says. Allah, there is no God but He, the living, the self-subsisting supporter of all. His are, how much? All things in the heavens and on earth. His throne doth extend over the earth. He is the Most High, the Supreme. Buddhism. From the Buddhist scripture, this is what is talking about Gautama Buddha. This Lord is truly the Arhat. Arhat is a person who has reached the ultimate stage of attainment. Fully enlightened, perfect in his knowledge and conduct, well gone, world knower. What's the next word? Unsurpassed. Leader of men to be tamed, teacher of gods and men, the Buddha, the Lord. Judaism, from the writings of the prophets. For thus said the Lord who created the heavens, who is God, who formed the earth. I am the Lord, and there are about 20 others. There is no others. Are you seeing something? One more. Christianity. There is how many other names? No other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. Do you know something? When I read the scriptures, the writings that came down to us from ages past, I do not find a single religion which ever says, I am the path and the others are an equal alternative. Not a single one. Not only do they say that I am the only way, they point to the others and say they are not. Look at these sentences and statements. In Buddhism, the Buddha held that this belief in a permanent self or soul is one of the most deceitful delusions ever held by man. What he is talking about is the Hindu central concept of an eternal soul. And with one sentence, he has wiped out the basis of Hinduism, calling it the most deceitful delusion ever held by man. Judaism, understand that I am He. Before me there was no God formed, nor shall there be after me. One statement, and every other claimant, antecedent and precedent, is wiped off. All whoever came before me are thieves and robbers. That's from Christianity. But the sheep did not hear them. Those to whom the burden of Torah, this is now writing from the Quran, the Muslims, those to whom the burden of Torah was entrusted and yet refused to bear it are like a donkey laden with books. Wretched is the example of those who deny God's revelations. Quran 62, second chapter and verse 5. Who is this verse talking about? The Jews and the Christians. Because the Torah was revealed to them. Knock them off. I have not found one single religion accommodating any sympathy for any other. So don't point to just one of them and say, hey, that's bigoted. No, all of them are. If you want to use the word bigoted, I wouldn't use the word bigoted because we are searching. I would just say that's their claim. Each religion claims to be the champion. Nobody says, I will share my gold medal with the others. Donkey, wretched, thieves, robbers, deceitful. These are the words that I use. So how can pluralism now claim that all are equally true? Can you have a deceitful truth? No. Can you find something that's wretched as well as good? And if we understand what they mean by donkey, can you have a valid donkey? No, you can't. Pluralism can say that all of them are bad. But pluralism has no basis of saying all of them are valid. Are you with me? Because in the writings, I do not find that at all. So, the written codes clearly claim exclusivity. Each religion claims to be the only way. So I wanted to scrutinize that. Equality. Remember they said that all will be equal? Now the word equal, by its own meaning, inherent within it, means that there is a reference point. If I and you say that we are equal weight, then we have stepped on the same weighing machine, right? Not even a different weighing machine. We've got to the same weighing machine, and then when we stand there and check it out, okay, I'm this many pounds or kilos, and you check it out, you're this many kilos. Now we can say we're equal weight. Alas, there is no universally acceptable reference point for religion. There simply is not. There is no basis for saying they're equal. Out goes that claim. You have to establish yourself. That was my search. Establish what is being stated, and I will accept it. If you cannot establish it, then let's put it to a side. It might still be correct, but it does not occupy central focus.